Mets get swept against the Sacramento Athletics. A lot to talk about, and the downward trend just continues. We'll talk about it right after the intro.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York Town.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bleed Orange and Blue podcast. My name is TJ Labby, and this is the series recap, the fourth one of the 2026 New York Mets season, as they got swept against the Sacramento Athletics this past weekend, and it was not fun at all. This team is bad, man, and I mean bad. They can't hit, they can't score, they can't pitch, they have a terrible bullpen, and nothing's just going their way. I don't know. And you're probably wondering why I sound like so soft and all that stuff. My parents are currently in a prayer meeting, so I don't want to disrupt, because I don't want to rant and rave as much as I want to rant and rave. It's just, there's no point. There's no point in wasting my breath. There's no point in, just going off on this team. It makes no sense. But anyways, we'll do it anyway, because, consistency matters. So, series recap, Mets versus Athletics. Here we go. Game one was, a shutout. Athletics win 4-0 over the Mets. Who was it? Jack Perkins got the win for Sacramento, while Clay Holmes got the got the loss, and was also injured in this game because, of course. Anyways, the final line of this game, Athletics 4 runs on 9 hits, no errors. The Mets no runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. And believe it or not, former Met Jeff McNeil was the player of the game in this one as well. But anyways, here's the pitching stat line. For the Mets, Clay Holmes went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts before he was taken out of the game for left hamstring tightness. He is saying that he will be able to make it for his scheduled start against the Dodgers this week. Tobias Myers then came in, went 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 walks, 1 strikeout. Those 3 earned runs came in the 9th inning because he ran out of gas. And then Richard Lovelady came in for 2/3 of an inning, nothing across the board. The Mets hitting, Lindor went 1 for 4 with a strikeout, Bichette 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, Jared Young 1 for 4 with a strikeout, Luis Robert Jr. 1 for 4, Brett Beatty 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, Marcus Semien 0 for 4, Ronnie Mauricio 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, Francisco Alvarez 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout, and then Carson Bench went 1 for 3 with a strikeout. The Mets struck out 10 times in this game against the Athletics. They went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and they left 6 men on base. The scoring, pretty much straightforward. The Athletics, with a Shane Langoliers RBI single in the top of the 3rd, made it 1-0. Then that's the way it would be until the top of the 9th. Jeff McNeil with an RBI single, 2-0 Athletics, and then Denzel Clark with a 2-run RBI single made it 4-0 Athletics, and that was all she wrote in this one, as this was extend the Mets losing streak to 3 games in a row after previously losing the series against the Diamondbacks just a day prior. And apparently another interesting stat that is on here is that JT Ginn led the way as the Athletics pitchers run scoreless streak to 26 innings. So because they beat the Yankees the night before, and they were just dominant on the pitching half of things. But anyways, that's game one. Let's move on to game two, which was probably the only game that the Mets showed any real fight in, as they would lose 11-6. Jacob Lopez would get the win for the Athletics, while Kodai Senga would get the loss for the Mets. The Athletics had 11 runs on 15 hits, no errors. The Mets had 6 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. And this was another game that the Mets would very much like to forget. Specifically, Kodai Senga, who was ripped apart in this game as he went 2 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He gave up 2 home runs. Oscar Brazivan went 2 2/3, giving up 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. Brooks Braley with an 1 inning pitched. He was good other than a walk and a strikeout. Craig Kimbrell, who made his Mets debut, went an inning. Had an inning pitched, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Luke Weaver, who has just been on a downslope as of late, went an inning, gave up 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. One of those was a home run, of which was from Tyler Soderstrom. It would be his second home run of the game. Then Luis Garcia came in. He went an inning, gave up a hit, and had a strikeout. The Mets hitting, well, not necessarily any better, but there was one person who shined above the rest in this game. Lindor 1 for 5 with a run scored, 2 strikeouts. Luis Robert Jr. 1 for 4 with a run scored, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Jorge Polanco went 1 for 5 with a run scored, an RBI, and a strikeout. Bo Bichette went 2 for 3 with a run, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Mark Vientos 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Francisco Alvarez 2 for 4 with a run scored, an RBI. Carson Benj went 1 for 3 with a run scored, a walk, and a strikeout. Marcus Semien went 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Tyrone Taylor goes 1 for 2. And Brett Beatty, who pinch hit for him, went 0 for 1 with a RBI and a strikeout. The Mets, again, struck out 10 times in this game, going 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position and left 8 men on base. The scoring in this game, the Mets, believe it or not, had a lead in this game, and it didn't last very long. Bo Bichette with an RBI single made it 1-0 Mets in the bottom of the first. Denzel Clark then with a bases loaded walk. Yes, Sango walked in a run, tied it 1-1, and then Lawrence Butler with an RBI ground out made it 2-1 Athletics. Tyler Soderstrom with a 2-run shot in the top of the third made it 4-1 Sacramento. Then Carlos Cortez with a 3-run homer made it 7-1 Sacramento. And I was just at the point where it's like, this is over. Who cares? But then everybody's saying, oh, they're coming back. And I'm like, no way they're coming back. They came back a little bit. Bo Bichette with a solo homer made it 7-3. Then Francisco Alvarez with a home run made it 7-4. Brett Beatty then with a sacrifice fly made it 7-5. Jorge Polanco with a solo shot made it 7-6, and all the Mets needed to do was just get out of the top of the eighth unscathed, and unfortunately, that did not happen. Shea Langoliers with an RBI single made it 8-6 Sacramento, and then Tyler Soderstrom with his second home run of the day made it 11-6 Sacramento, and that would be the final score in Game 2, extending the Mets' losing streak to 4 in a row and a second straight series loss for the Mets. Then we move on to Game 3, which was the most infuriating of them all. Why is that? Because they lost by a simple score of 1-0. Aaron Civale would get the win for the Athletics. He is now 2-0 with a 1.72 ERA. Freddie Peralta, who had a fantastic start in this game, unfortunately gets tapped with the loss, and he's now 1-1 with a 3.86 ERA. And then Joel Kuhnel gets the save for the Athletics. It's his second save of the season. The final stat line of this game, the Athletics 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. The Mets no runs, 4 hits, and no errors. And this was just a pitcher's duel. Flat out, plain and simple. Wasn't anything much to write home about other than the pitching was great for New York, as Peralta went 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run. That only home run would come off a Nick Kurtz solo home run in the top of the third. Shamanaya then came in, and he actually looked decent. 3 innings, nothing across the board other than 4 strikeouts. The Mets hitting, however, was not great at all. Lindor 2 for 4. Polanco 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Jared Young 1 for 2. Mark Vientos, who pinch hit for him, went 0 for 2. Bo Bichette went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Brett Beatty 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Marcus Semien 0 for 3. Carson Benj 0 for 3. Luis Torrens 1 for 3. And then Tyrone Taylor 0 for 2 with a walk. The Mets would leave 4 runners on base and went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And the only run scored in this game was a Nick Kurtz home run, his first of the season, because, of course, isn't that not surprising to anyone at all? This would be the Mets' 5th straight game they would lose. They got swept, and they are now in dead last in the National League East Division, while the Athletics, with this sweep over the Mets, have put themselves in second place in the AL West Division. What did I have to really say about this? I mean, I said what I needed to say, man. This team sucks. They're not good. They can't hit, they can't score, they can't do, frankly, anything. And it's a prime disappointment, and things need to change, especially Lindor. You got to get your crap together, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, mental errors, cookie cutter answers in press conferences. He's not hitting. He doesn't have an RBI. He doesn't have a home run. He has really nothing going in his case. And it's just painful. It's really what it is. This team is painful to watch. I'm not surprised that a lot of people are not going to games because the product on the field does not resemble the team that we were promised. Meanwhile, other players in other distinct locations, like Nimmo, is raking over in Texas. The only one that's really not doing the greatest out of the people that the Mets got rid of was Alonso, and he's still trying to pick it up with American League East hitting or pitching. So it's just one of those cases, and it doesn't get any better for the Mets because here we'll preview tonight's game. They now go onto another road trip, and they start tonight with the reigning World Series champions in the Los Angeles Dodgers because, of course, the probable pitchers for tonight is David Peterson for the Mets, who has been just atrociously awful. He is 0-2 with a 6.14 ERA against Justin Wroblewski. Wroblewski for the Dodgers. I probably said it wrong. Apologies, but yeah, he gets the start for the Dodgers. He's 1-0 with a 4.00 ERA. And the lineups recently came out, so let's take a look at them. Francisco Lindor leads off. He's still in that leadoff spot. I don't understand why you don't move him down the lineup, but it is what it is. Luis Robert Jr. batting second in center field. Mark Vientos at first base tonight in the 3-hole. Bo Bichette batting cleanup at third base. Jorge Polanco batting fifth at DH. Francisco Alvarez batting sixth at catcher. Tommy Pham, who was recently called up by the Mets and recently brought back by the Mets during this offseason, is batting seventh in left field. Marcus Semien bats eighth at second base, and then Tyrone Taylor batting ninth in right field. One more time, Lindor batting leadoff at shortstop. Robert Jr. batting second in center field. Vientos batting third at first base. Bichette batting fourth at third base. Polanco batting fifth at DH. Alvarez batting sixth at catcher. Pham batting seventh at left field. Marcus Semien batting eighth in second base. And Tyrone Taylor batting ninth in right field. And then the starting lineup for the World Series, the defending World Series champions in the Los Angeles Dodgers. And it goes like this. Shohei Ohtani bats leadoff for the Dodgers. Kyle Tucker batting second. Will Smith batting third. Teoscar Hernandez batting fourth. Freddie Freeman batting fifth. Andy Pages batting sixth. Max Muncy batting seventh. Espinal, whom I can't remember offhand. I believe it's Marcus Espinal. I'm sorry. Apparently my Wi-Fi has been cut out because... yeah. Can anything go my way? Apparently not. And then Miguel Rojas batting ninth for the Dodgers. One more time. Ohtani batting first at the DH spot. Tucker batting second in right field. Smith batting third at catching. Hernandez batting fourth left field. Freeman batting fifth first base. Pajes batting sixth in center field. Muncy batting seventh at third base. This is Max Muncy, not the other Max Muncy over in Sacramento. Jorge Espinal is what I'll call him, batting eighth at second base, and then Rojas batting ninth at shortstop. This game tonight is on SNY for the Mets. It is from Dodger Stadium. It starts at 10:10 p.m., so if you are willing and able, make sure you have your coffee with you or your energy drink, whatever you may prefer. But keep in mind, it is a school night, it is a work night, so just be responsible and make sure to go to bed at a reasonable time, of which I should be telling myself since I have school tomorrow. But anyways, the highlights. I don't think there's any star of the series, honestly, in this one. Maybe the star of the series, maybe, I don't know, Freddie Peralta. He did good. He had a great start. Hats off to him. And then the lowlights, basically everyone on the offense. No one could hit. No one could do anything. But who knows? It is what it is. But yes, let's wrap up this episode of the Bleed Orange and Blue podcast. My name is TJ Labby. Thank you all for listening to this episode. Make sure to give us a follow or a subscribe on YouTube, and make sure to follow me on Instagram at Labby Sports Network to keep up with anything Bleed Orange and Blue or anything Labby Sports Network. Thank you all for listening to this episode of the Bleed Orange and Blue podcast. And as for this episode, you can put it in the books.